How is food stored? Is there a freezer run by a generator? No, our generator it won't put out enough power to run a freezer, essentially.
Ever since its premiere in May 2014, Alaskan Bush People has been Discovery's primetime show simply by excellence. However, despite their simple lifestyle and somewhat amusing deeds while living in the wilderness, the Brown family is more than they let their audience see on screen. Billy, his wife Amy, and their 7 children have undoubtedly made people raise their eyebrows more than once with their atypical endeavors. The seemingly innocent and naive family have a long list of controversies, which vary from having a difficult and controversial past in Texas to being investigated by the Alaskan government. Nothing is ever ordinary when it comes to the Browns, but let's see if we can uncover any facts you didn't know about Alaskan Bush People. A simple reminder how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either iPhone Max, iPad mini, or MacBook Pro. It's really your choice. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. It's not easy to find a romantic partner when you live relatively isolated in an Alaskan forest. If you also happen to have a limited understanding of modern society, then your chances of successfully finding your other half are very slim. Noah Brown's search for love hasn't been deterred by this, though it doesn't mean that he's been too successful at it either. This is why fans of the show were surprised when in 2016, a gorgeous lady from California named Karina was introduced as his date. The woman was apparently visiting a friend in Alaska and accepted an invitation to go on a tour of Noah's family home in the bush, though the situation became uncomfortable for her when he performed a song he wrote about his ex-girlfriend Christy. Noah's idea of a romantic date may have been unusual, but that was expected from him. What made this date stand out though was the fact that fans were able to find out that Noah's date is an actress whose full name is Karina Kaufman. Alaskan Bush People is listed on the woman's work page in the Internet Movie Database website, causing a scandal as people speculated that she was hired to play the role of Noah's date. This particular theory was never denied nor confirmed, but somewhat conveniently, Karina was never mentioned in the series again. It's well known that Billy Brown has written various books for children, though his skills as an author of more serious topics have been proven true as well. In his autobiographical book, One Wave at a Time, Billy recalls events of his younger years, his rich family in Texas, and even his first encounter with his then wife-to-be, Amy, whose outstanding beauty at the time of their initial meeting made Billy fall in love with her at first sight. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary about the couple's history until their marriage certificate was unveiled by several media outlets in 2016. Of course, many eyebrows were still raised at the couple due to their age gap of 11 years, though what was truly scandalous and shocking was the fact that Amy was barely 15 when she tied the knot with Billy. Although their marriage situation was unusual, there was nothing actually illegal about it, as at the time of their wedding, Texas allowed women as young as 14 years old to be wed, as long as they had their parents' consent to do so. Marrying young wasn't necessarily something new for Billy either, as he had tied the knot for the first time with a woman named Brenda when he was just 16 years old. Though the marriage resulted in a daughter, the relationship didn't last for long, and they divorced 5 years later. Although the marriage between Billy and teen Amy Brown was completely legal, several aspects of their relationship can be deemed as questionable. In 2017, Amy's mother, Arlene Branson, and brother Les declared that Billy deceived them into believing that he was financially well off, in addition to allegedly courting Amy behind their backs, assuring them he would support Amy to pursue a higher education. Apparently, Billy isn't good at making promises, as in fact, he's been continuously struggling financially for several years, so Amy never got to continue her studies. Besides this, Amy's brother Les declared that Billy was controlling and didn't allow Amy to express her opinions during the first stages of their marriage. However, what seemed to trouble Arlene Branson the most when it came to this topic was the fact that by the time she made these declarations, she hadn't seen Amy for over 3 decades. She didn't explain why that was. Although the Branson's words can be taken with a grain of salt, it's undeniably the Browns' extreme lifestyle which could have caused Amy's estrangement from her family. Unfortunately, any possible reunion between Amy and her mother is impossible now, as the old lady died in 2018, where Amy apparently didn't attend her own mother's funeral, nor even send condolences. As expected, life in the bush may not be the best or easiest way to earn money. This is something the Brown's son Bam Bam realized years ago, and which encouraged him to invest all of his life savings into buying a ferry. It's unknown how much the ship cost, or what exactly inspired Bam Bam to put all of his money into what's apparently a rather risky business. His experience at navigating isn't necessarily vast, and his family's history with boats isn't good, as their only ship sank years ago. Whether he was pushed by his family family's dream or by personal goals. It's undeniable that he put every effort into making his newly acquired ferry, Fathom This, a profitable asset by personally working on its renovations. His girlfriend, the former producer of Alaskan Bush People, Alison Kagan, was apparently involved with the project as well. What happened with Fathom This? The ship was supposed to go into business after renovations were done, but neither Bam Bam nor Allison have given further information about it, and the Twitter account they started to promote the ship hasn't been updated since 2018. This makes people believe Bam's idea of becoming a ship's captain wasn't as promising as he had thought. The Brown family is famous for living in the Alaskan wilderness, but that apparently hasn't always been the case. After an investigation by the Alaskan government, it was determined that the family had illegally obtained dividends, which only people who lived uninterruptedly in the state for a certain period qualify for. So, does this mean that they weren't living in Alaska as everyone thought? Apparently not. The court's documents specify that from 2010 to 2013, the Browns didn't reside permanently in the state. In 2011, they moved to Texas, where they lived for several months, although estranged from Allie's family, and later spent several weeks in Denver, Colorado in 2012. Although initially the charges were put against the entire family, Billy and his son Bam Bam were the only ones who pleaded guilty, as they took legal responsibility over all the family. Besides being banned for ever applying for the dividends program again, they had to return thousands of dollars they had previously obtained, were sentenced to 30 days of home detention, and were given 40 hours of obligatory community service, in addition to fines of $10,000 for Billy and $2,000 for Bam Bam. However, the Browns left that negative episode of their lives behind and continued to appear in the series as usual, although after such a serious incident, fans couldn't help but wonder how real Alaskan Bush People actually is. After the accusations of fraud and theft, fans of Alaskan Bush People thought nothing could surprise them anymore, but the Brown family proved them wrong. In June 2016, media outlets published the story of two Hoona locals named Becky Honeycutt and Jay Erickson, who claimed that the Browns didn't live in the wilderness as they have led people to believe, but in a small hotel named Icy Strait Lodge. Following this declaration, the entire Brown family has been caught several times entering the hotel at night to sleep. The Browns' older son, Matt, allegedly often visits the lodge's bar for socializing and to flirt with the local girls. In past year, Matt, along with members of the production crew of the show, allegedly took up residence in Misty Bay Lodge, which is another hotel near where the Alaskan Bush People is filmed. The Browns have claimed that these accusations are false, and Billy has assured fans that allegations against them are made by people who don't have a life. However, this hasn't been enough to shut down the rumors, which suggest that their long-time adventure in the wilderness is at least partly false. Many people were surprised when Billy and Amy's oldest son Matt left the series during its 8th season. It was later confirmed by the family that he had entered a rehab program to be helped to overcome his addiction to alcohol. However, before the premiere in 2014 of Alaskan Bush People, Matt was already facing problems related to his tendencies to alcoholic abuse. In 2013, he hit and caused damage to a motorcycle parked near a local grocery store in Juneau, Alaska. After failing a sobriety test that day, he was arrested for driving under the influence of alcoholic substances. Although Matt's addiction problems have not led him to have problems with the law since that first incident, it has surely impeded him in enjoying a normal life. He entered rehab for a second time in 2018 and went back to it again in the following year. Despite previously relapsing into his addiction habits, Matt has apparently been clean since leaving rehab in March 2019. He affirmed that living in Alaska was the reason he kept falling into alcoholism in the past, but since he has recently settled himself permanently in California, life seems to be better for him now. Many fans of Alaskan Bush People have been aware that Noah's wife, Rain Alice, is not on good terms with the rest of the family, though the animosity between them clearly goes far beyond what can be seen on TV. Noah's younger sister, Snowbird, is notably the member of the family least interested in improving her relationship with Rain, having openly said that the older woman is not welcome by her in the household. Further, it said Bam Bam's girlfriend, Alison Kagan, apparently doesn't have a good relationship with Billy and Amy Brown either, although this has remained as an unconfirmed rumor for years. Bam and Allison don't spend time together with the rest of the family, despite having been romantically involved for years. Son Bear's ex-girlfriend, Raven Adams, is also known for not being a fan of the Brown family. She and Bear started dating in 2019 and welcomed their first son in early 2020. However, later that year they broke up, and Raven hasn't been very kind when it comes to her opinions regarding her ex-boyfriend's relatives. In an interview with The Sun, she affirmed that Alaskan Bush People was completely fake. The Brown siblings don't get along well, and none of the members of the family live permanently in the mountains. One of the most interesting aspects of Alaskan Bush People is the way the Brown family has managed to survive alone and by their own means in the wilderness for long periods of time. Regardless of how entertaining the show is, for years people have thought the family's financial situation to be difficult. However, if reports by Radar Online hold any truth, then the Brown family is not necessarily struggling when it comes to money, as they have led people to believe. Following the information provided by said media outlet, in 2018, Billy Brown bought 4 parcels of land located in Okanogan County, Washington State. Although it's unknown what he's planning to do with these properties, he allegedly spent $415,000 on the acquisition. Regardless of how contradictory buying these expensive properties is, compared to the simple, austere lifestyle the family has been portraying on their reality TV series, it's not the first time Billy's housing decisions has caused uproar. During Amy Brown's lung cancer treatment in Los Angeles in late 2017, the family lived in a rented Beverly Hills mansion. After Amy's recovery, the family decided to move permanently to Washington State, where they allegedly stayed in a luxurious mansion in Lakefront during the show's off-season. How can the Browns afford to live in such places? It's really unknown how much the family earns from appearing in Alaskan Bush People. But if the rumors regarding their supposed luxurious lifestyles are true, then the show with its participants is more profitable than it seems. Does all the foregoing detract from your viewing enjoyment? Quite possibly. But then you still get to see huge swathes of the Alaskan bush from the comfort of your own fireside. Or perhaps you're considering a visit yourself. Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpick these videos which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.